Hi, I'm Dave Chen, and I'm the paddle designer at KIALOA Paddles. The paddle I'd like to talk to you about is the Mekana Double Bend Hybrid. This is a women's specific paddle. When I started this project, I consulted with KIALOA Aleli, Jamie Kennard. I asked her, I said, what do you want in a women's paddle? And her response was, I don't know what a women's paddle is. I've only paddled with men's paddles. And that kind of set a lot of things in motion. It kind of was very confusing because we didn't really have anything to work on. So I happened to be at the gym one day and I was watching these women do pull-ups, and that kind of got me thinking. One of the things I noticed was at the bottom of the pull-up, when they're in this position right here, almost all of them could get that first part of the motion. Where they had the problems was when they were trying to finish and get up here, where they had to use more of the arm and the bicep. They seemed really strong when they could kind of engage the back quite easily. That got me thinking about the paddling stroke. And I think when women are fully extended and they're able to drive the legs and the core, that's when they're really most powerful. As they get to the mid portion of the stroke, they drive through. That's where the arms and the biceps get involved. They're not going to have the muscle power of the typical guy. I understand there's some really powerful women out there, and I hope you're not offended by this, but this is a general statement. So what we did is, in the design of the paddle, is going with that theme of being very strong up at the front of the catch, is we kept the paddle wide. We kept it wide like a typical outrigger paddle. But that mid portion, I just want them to get through that quicker. I want the paddle to come through. I want to keep the blade speed up. So what I did was I moved in the shoulders. It's narrow up at the top. And the other thing I did was the blade is shorter. This blade is, our typical blades are about 1.5 inches taller. And so now the blade I just want them to get through that part of the stroke. I want them to get up front, get a good solid catch, and basically be able to keep their rate up. Other things about this blade, it's very thin. That accomplishes two things. Thin blades catch really well. The other one is the blade flexes. And I think in a woman's paddle, flex is even more essential than in a man's paddle, because generally speaking, women load the paddle with less force. So we need that paddle to flex, otherwise they just get no feedback. They have no feel for the water. And I think to have a good catch and have good paddling mechanics, you have to have feel in the water. We downsized the shaft. Typically women have smaller hands than men. And in fact, that was one of the main things we got when we sent the prototypes out, was make the shaft smaller. So that's what we did. The shaft is made up of 2 pieces of basswood, that's the white wood on the outside, and a piece of poplar down the middle. This shaft makes for a strong and light shaft. The other thing with the T-top, we changed that up. We made it narrower. We didn't make it smaller in length from end to end, but we did make it narrower in height and in across this way. The top is made out of walnut. It's a beautiful brown wood, and we mainly did that for just beauty and contrast. So that's our women's paddle, the first offering we have in this genre of paddle, the Mekana Double Bend Hybrid. Thank you.